An open letter to my body. Disloyalty, lack of faithfulness or support. Body of mine, you are the personification of disloyalty. Because what deeper betrayal is there than when even your body turns against you? When the one thing that's supposed to carry you through life doesn't even want a committed relationship. Lupus, an autoimmune disease, meaning your body begins to attack itself. You are a good relationship that ended with, it's not you, it's me. You mistook this temple as your playground, seesawed your way around my lungs with pleurisy, swung around my kidney to the point of failure, slid down my tissue with inflammation. You're so temperamental. One day you're fine, the next day you're dying. Is pain the only thing that you know? Because you act like you don't know what healthy feels like anymore. Body of mine, you decided to wage war. I never asked you for battle. Why you gotta be so selfish? Because you act like hospital is more house than home. Do you take pride in the needle pricks? Like you don't see that I'm running out of good veins, like all this suffering doesn't seem in vain. Body of mine, can you take a day off? Do you ever get tired of fighting? Because it seems like you always plotting and planning to tear me down. Because I've been trying to make amends, trying to pretend that we were finally getting along. Then you have the nerve to turn around and reject the kidney transplant that gave me new life? Are you envious that I was finally doing better? Do you wallow every time I get a good report? Or is it the fact that I'm still able to smile despite you, the reason you try to hurt me more? So determined to be the death of me, sepsis in my bloodstream. Guess you didn't get the memo that I got a lineage of warriors running through my bloodstream. Are you angry that I got faith that God has healed me? Because I'm constantly binding you up and demanding you to get in line. Body of mine, you may win the battle, but I will always win the war. So even when every part of me is hurting, I still find something to look forward to. My heart is still beating, left ventricle screaming hope, right ventricle exclaiming faith, because I ain't never witnessed a trial that didn't make me stronger. You thought you tore me down, but what you really did was give fuel to a monster. You keep shooting me with your best shot, but I'm bulletproof, strong amidst the bruises, bigger than the tears. You must have forgot that I'm a soldier and you can't kill a warrior when they have no fears. So between the arsenal of my spiritual weapon and the power of my tongue, I am well equipped. I never quit. Body of mine.
That was a beautiful poem by a beautiful woman, my friend Dash. And that poem was called Body of Mine. Amazing. So now we're going to go straight into it. Today I have an amazing special guest, a brother that I want to highlight. Once again, this is my pilot show, the very first show that I'm doing for this podcast, Full of Motivation Mondays. And I figured I want to set it off right with a legend in my community. So today I have here with me Demarcus Tank Tyler. Welcome to my show, my brother.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you for sure. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you,
Absolutely.
brother. I appreciate you. So, I got information about you through one of my big brothers, my best friend. He knew I wanted to start a podcast where I wanted to highlight brothers from the community, ancestors, you know, people from the community that are. I got a saying where I say someone who's someone in real life and not on the internet, you know? And so, you know, being serious about that, though, you know, it seems like we got to try to combat things. The internet is doing a lot negative for our community. And so that's why I stress someone trying to be someone in real life. And you, my brother, are someone in real life, man. So I appreciate your time.
Much appreciation, brother.
Yes, sir, for sure. That's
Absolutely.
for sure.
Absolutely.
So, I want to get straight into it if you don't mind.
Let's do it.
All right, for sure. So, the first question that I want to ask you is, what was it like growing up? What was your childhood like growing up in Fayetteville, North Carolina?
Well, if you want to start with childhood, my childhood started in Cotton Plant, Arkansas.
Wow. See, that's a beautiful Cotton Plant, Arkansas.
Cotton Plant, Arkansas. So,
Okay.
And so if we start there, you want to start there?
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
If
Where your childhood?
Yeah.
We want to start from your childhood.
Okay, so childhood, Cotton Plant, Arkansas. I was born in Little Rock, in the capital.
Okay.
But my mother and father, they were in the mall on Valentine's Day. And that's when my mother went to labor. So the only mall close was the big city, which was Little Rock.
Okay.
So Cotton Plant was small town, no stoplights. You know, we had a couple stop signs, a liquor store.
Exactly.
You know, a dairy bar, and that was it.
Exactly. Okay. Cotton Plant.
Cotton Plant,
so
Arkansas.
when did you end up coming to Fayetteville?
I ended up coming to Fayetteville in 1995. But, you know, rewind back to Cotton Plant, though, because that's where I learned everything before I came to Fayetteville, really.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, because Cotton Plant, even though there's nothing there, there's everything.
Yes,
Well, and
sir.
what I mean by that, my family is a farm family on both sides. So we grew up on fields of cotton and beans and peas and corn and, you know, whatever vegetables you can think of, really, but mainly cotton plant.
Wow.
And my mother's side of the family, they had, you know, chickens and pigs and, you know, that kind of the produce, the animals. So at a young age, really, I knew what life was all about. The freedom of life, the things that are natural, the things that were growing, family, and crops.
Exactly.
So, you know, and that, you know, thinking back, when I did come to North Carolina, that was one of the things that, you know, gave me a lot of poise and peace, was Cotton Plant, growing up.
Exactly.
With nothing but everything at the same time.
Exactly.
And so, yeah.
Wow, that's beautiful too. I kind of grew up exactly opposite in Detroit, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nothing around. I would have loved that for sure. So you grew up farming?
Yeah, I grew up on the farm. Actually in the tractor with my father. You know, soon as school let out, or if we wasn't in school, if it was summertime, I'm in the tractor, you know, sitting right next to him, and we're going down the wheat field. We're going down the cotton field, you know.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that type of thing. I was gonna add too, my first time being on the airplane was to Detroit to see my mom's sister.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Auntie from the D.
From the D.
Okay, for sure.
My Aunt Faye, shout out Faye, my favorite auntie.
Okay, yeah, shout out Auntie. I already know. I already know. So growing up there, would you say that, what was your first passion? Like, I know you done music and sports. What was your first passion? Which one did you get into first? Was it music or sports? Or what was your very first passion?
My very first passion. In Cotton Plant. That's what you're talking about, right?
Is that, yeah, exactly.
To be honest, you know, you don't have, well, we had a basketball team and we had a track team. I shot street ball, but, you know, I was 10 years old when I moved to North Carolina, so, you know, I was kind of young, I guess, to play basketball on the team. But I didn't really have, like, you know, a passion.
Exactly, yeah.
To do that.
Time. Exactly.
But, you know, in Cotton Plant, I was learning a lot of, to be honest, I was learning a lot of life lessons very early. I'll tell you one of the very early life lessons I had a best friend, I call him, his name was Tominski Rogers. And we on live, so yeah, we putting it out. But, you know, and I don't mean to put the name out, but at the same time, I don't have any grudges. I'm talking about young times of my life.
Definitely.
And, you know, that ended up teaching me lessons that transpired throughout my life, to be honest. And so, it's so funny that those ages I remember vividly, things that happened, and I think it's because cotton planting is so slow.
Exactly.
So you're able to process life and see things all in slow motion.
Exactly.
And, in that way. So, long short with why I brought him up was, it was a best friend of mine, and I learned early what hate, jealousy, and envy was.
Wow. Yeah.
At the age of 4 or 5 years old, I walked in the schoolhouse. This is Head Start at kindergarten, and I got on some white, green, and orange Spaldings, and then I got my orange and green outfit on with the match my Spaldings. You know what I mean? So Spaldings ain't no Jordans or none of that, but I just like my colors in the way,
Exactly.
So when I walk into school, he said, "Oh, look at old Marcus. He think he look good, huh?"
Exactly.
But underneath, you know what that's about. But we're 4 or 5 years old. What is this?
Wow.
So back then, I didn't understand hate, and that's one thing about cotton planting, my environment that I was growing up in, being in the country and being on the farm. It was all family around and cousins around, so we didn't have that hate or jealous thing around.
Exactly.
Back in those times, and so later on, some situations happened, and he ended up robbing me.
Wow. Okay.
Robbing my family.
Wow. Okay.
I used to. So we in the country. And, so I used to take them home after school, and I used to get in my house a certain way because we didn't have a key, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And so you knew that, yeah.
Knew that, and my father had a bunch of guns in the back of my dresser, and back of his dresser. And we used to take them and shoot them after school all the time, shoot the squirrels or whatever was around. Mm-hmm. And so they wanted them guns. And mind you, I'm 5, 6, 7 years old, somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
probably was 7 because we ended up maybe a couple of years after that leaving. And, it just go to show you the early lessons that I'm learning.
Yes.
And then here we come to Fayetteville.
Exactly. With that already on you. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so best friends and all this come around.
Exactly.
Life lessons.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So you get to Fayetteville, you're around 10 years old when you come here, right?
Right.
Okay, so basketball or music, which one did you get into first when you got here? I mean, not basketball, football, I'm sorry, or music, sports. Or music, which one was your...
Well, when we first got to Fayetteville in 95, it was summertime, it was very hot, and I asked my mother for some money so I can go up to it was the bowling alley up the street, that was the closest store.
Okay, B&B probably.
Airborne Lanes.
Oh, that was before my time.
Yeah, Airborne Lanes, 1995. So she said, "I don't have shit, so don't ask me for shit." Right?
No doubt.
You ever heard that one?
I'd have been there. I was just about to say I'd have been there.
So that was my first time hearing that one, coming from my mother.
Exactly.
And I didn't want to hear that one again. So, like I said, I had learned a lot of things in Cotton Plant, Arkansas before I came to North Carolina. And one of those things was my father used to drop me and my brother off to go mow grass for an elderly man named Mr. Moses.
Okay.
And Mr. Moses, he would teach us how to mow grass in a straight line and mow it in a box shape, right? At 5, 6 years old, I'm learning this. And if we get out of line, they say, "Yo!" And we got to turn around and come right back and get in that straight line. And we will mow about 1.5 acres.
Wow.
I kid you not.
Wow.
We would start in the morning and end in the evening. and he would pay us $5 together.
Wow.
He would give it, to me or my brother, and I would take it.
Exactly.
If he gave it to me, I would take it to my father, and I say, Father, we worked all day, and you see what he gave us? He gave us $5. He said, be grateful for whatever he gave you.
Exactly.
Because I didn't know at that time that he was teaching me a skill that was going to put me in North Carolina on Fort Bragg, knocking on doors. Do you need your grass cut?
Exactly.
Oh, that's $35. That's $45 for the front and backyard.
Wow.
And so I'm going up the airborne lanes every day, eating chili cheese fries, chili cheese dog, playing video games.
Because of the skill you
know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so, I always wanted to do two things. I wanted to be free, I wanted to eat.
So, when you get to E? What middle school did you go to here before E. Smith?
I got here in 95-10, so I was still I was in fifth grade.
Exactly.
I went to Morganton Road Elementary for 1 year. Morganton Road is right across from Westover.
Okay.
Yeah, that was Morganton Road Elementary, because I was in fifth grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Pine Forest Middle School.
Okay, Pine Forest.
Yeah,
okay.
Pine Forest Middle School. Yeah, we stayed on Ramsey. So once we moved from Fort Bragg, we moved to Ramsey. So we went Pine Forest District.
Okay, for sure. And then from Pine Forest Middle School is when you went to E. Smith High School?
Right.
Okay. All 4 years in E. Smith?
Yeah, all 4 years in E. Smith.
Okay.
And I was still in Pine Forest District when I went to E. Smith, but
exactly.
Yeah, I told my moms, when it was time to go to choose a high school, I kind of felt like it was college, because Pine Forest definitely wanted me to go there, and E. Smith was where I wanted to go though. So I told moms, yeah, I'm going to Smith.
Were you already playing sports? You said Pine Forest wanted you to go there?
Because I was playing football.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Forest,
okay. Yeah. So you get to E. Smith. That's where you choose to go to. Pine Forest wants you, but you choose to go to E. Smith. When you get there as a freshman, are you playing JV, varsity?
Nah, I went straight to varsity.
Wow. Okay. Varsity in ninth grade. Let's explain that a little bit, please.
So, it was the first game. It was against Southwest Charlotte or Northwest Charlotte.
Okay, Northwest, I believe.
Northwest Charlotte.
Northwest Charlotte, okay.
Giant dudes, too. Them dudes was huge back then.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, but, so my position was right tackle at that time. And a few plays went by of that starting game. And shout out to AJ Monroe, too, for putting me on Pastor Troy game 1. And he put them headphones on me and was, we ready?
Okay.
And I'm like, what is this?
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Got you nice and hype.
Got me nice and ready. So about a few plays went by, and Jason Butts was the right tackle. Coach Butts put me in, and he didn't take me out. And that, reason why I say Jason Butts, it was Coach Butts' son.
Wow. Okay.
So, and that's how much, he believed in me off the rip to put me in front of his son.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, that happened like that, and I didn't come out from there.
Wow, okay. Yeah. So you at E. Smith, you were a star there. Senior year, so I know you had the ball, or during your junior and senior year, you coming up towards college, were you the number one player on your team at that time, or one of the top players defensively?
Senior year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my approach, it became my approach in high school because, this was my first time really going through, I guess, full 4 seasons of football.
Exactly. Okay.
Middle school is 3 years, and then it's kind of like, not really on a level.
Seriousness, exactly.
High school. And so, my strategy, or what became my strategy, was to listen and learn and observe first. So, like the first, 2 years, I was listening and learning and seeing how people move, the leaders and the people who had influence on the team.
Wow.
And so when it was my turn to even open my mouth, I had something to speak up for. I had experience, I had watched, I had saw things that were missing, some things that were needed, you know what I mean? And I was able to apply those things. So when it was my turn, it wasn't even I'm going to be a leader. It's like I'm walking into this.
Exactly.
And everyone is watching and listening because that's what my energy is demanding.
Exactly.
Because this is what I've created up until my senior year. So the senior year, I was the leader of the team, captain, and I got all player. There's a couple plaques on my mama wall.
Okay, so you got drafted. Not drafted. You got picked up by the NC State. Is where you went to, right?
Right.
Was this on the full ride for football?
Yeah. Definitely.
Wow. Okay, that's beautiful. What was it like attending NC State? That would seem like totally opposite from what your background or where you came from. You know what I'm saying? Was it like a mixed people there, or what is like at NC State for you at this time?
NC State, I can tell some stories about NC State, but I don't know what kind of time we got.
For sure.
So I'm gonna just, NC State, first of all, going to college, you're able to, when you're getting recruited by colleges, you're able to choose one of the colleges that's recruiting you. But you can take visits to multiple colleges to, kind of compare the choices.
Exactly, okay.
And so the visits I took in the colleges I was interested in was Ohio State, Maryland, and NC State.
Ooh, all beautiful colleges.
And North Carolina. Got to throw them in there because I was going there quite often as well.
Okay. Chapel Hill?
Chapel Hill.
Okay, for sure.
And so NC State, for one, my uncle that I moved with.
In the military, with the auntie.
In the military.
Exactly.
He became the ROTC teacher at NC State.
Wow, okay.
That was one. So that was one reason I was going to NC State a lot for the games. And then I took my visit to NC State. When I took my visit to NC State, I felt at home. And it might be kind of weird, but okay. One example, as soon as I got in the car with my representative who was chauffeuring me for the weekend, he was like, "Nigga, you drink? You smoke?" You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So this it's lit already. And then we go to a apartment house party that's lit off the roof. And I'm like, Lord have mercy.
Wow. This is the information y'all don't get.
And then hold on. Then we go to Avon Ferry. What do we call it? That's the road, Avon Ferry. The ferry, yeah, we call it the ferry. So this is like a 7-story building with all the black people in it. You know what I'm saying? So all the athletes and then all the girls is here, and the environment was like, I'm back home in Fayetteville a little bit.
Wow.
And,
and this is at NC State.
This is at NC State.
Wow. Shout out to NC State.
And we kicking it for real. Like, and this is just my first visit, first day of visiting on campus. I'm like, okay, it feels good. Exactly. These might be my brothers.
Exactly.
When I was on Chapel Hill campus, I felt like I couldn't drop a gum wrapper.
Wow. Okay.
Or I'll be arrested or something. And I was like, okay, this ain't the right feeling for me.
Exactly.
Ohio was too cold.
Yeah, trust. I know.
And then, so that's how I made my choice of NC State.
Okay.
The home feeling, it was a lot of the brothers that I'm still really friends with today.
For sure.
The reason why I went to NC State. But yeah, there were a lot of challenges that reflected really my play and everything that happened in NC State. The third year I was there, I didn't start. So I started the second year and ended up getting my position taken the third year. That's when
by the guy that came from high school.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
And so from there I prevailed though still, you know, because any wrenches they thrown at me and just the latest out there, like because it's me that's able to tell my story.
Exactly.
But I love to hear other people when they talk about it as well. Like I said, I'm still friends with a lot of people, a lot of my brothers from NC State.
Okay.
And I was probably one of the worst slaves, got treated like one of the worst slaves at times at NC State.
Wow.
You know.
I know that had to be extremely challenging.
Yeah, it was definitely challenging.
How do you, I'm sorry, let's get into this. This is this stuff now. This is the juice that the youngest need. What was your motivation to keep yourself in that situation and not, because so many people, especially in our community, they almost bet on us to go off our emotions and trick ourselves out of our positions, and they'll put you in situations where you rightfully wouldn't be wrong too, you know. So that's it seems like the situation you was in. How do you stay strong in that situation, and what's your motivation to keep you going?
My motivation was always, I knew that I was something bigger. I didn't know exactly who I was at the time, but I knew all the time that they couldn't break me. I knew that, you know, you're trying to force me to do something, and I'm gonna do it, and it's gonna be incredible the way that I do it. You know what I mean? Just for example, like, I was one of the people that had to make a weight a particular weight every Friday before the game on Saturday.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So I think my weight was like 290 around the time. And so maintaining the weight, you know, that's kind of like a wrestler, you know, they got to really watch.
Yeah.
And part of it I appreciate because it made me learn weight and diet some, but not proper diet.
Exactly.
Because I didn't know proper diet still at that time, but I knew how to lose weight.
Exactly.
So, you know, I was the guy that still loved freedom. So you would never take my freedom away. And that was, you know, not even in a speech, because I was always respectable towards coaches. I never talked back really to coaches. And I put that really in there because, you know, there was some instances that needed to younger coaches that took the slave to the side to make me run drills and stuff like that, and thought they were gonna have it easy with me.
Exactly.
Now you gonna be the motherfucker today.
Exactly.
Because you the younger coach, that the intern that
exactly.
you think you gonna get away with it. Now I'm gonna run these, you know, drills, but you gonna hear my mouth too while I'm doing it.
Exactly.
You know, because I'm that one for real.
No doubt. In 2007, you get drafted to the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Right.
2007, all the obstacles you done went through, the situations, but now you got drafted to the league.
Right.
Please tell us what that moment felt like for you in total 360. What was that like, getting drafted in the 2007 to the Kansas City Chiefs, being from your situation that you came from?
I really didn't know what to expect because the first round had already went by. So them big millions was gone already. You know what I mean? So second round come around and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go in the second round. One of these teams will pick me up. By the third round, I'm outside smoking a cigar by my Benz. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so I think it was my mother, or I can't remember who it was. They came out to tell me, the Chiefs just drafted you. The Chiefs drafted you. And I'm like, cool. Yeah, I'll be in there in a minute.
Okay, so
I'm smoking my cigar.
You just put me on something I didn't know. So the first rounders, they get the biggest bucks, and then so the money goes down as you go through the rounds. And you were drafted in the third round.
Right.
Okay.
And at that point, it was all about the money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you're going
trying to see about how you
ain't worrying about what team picking you up. You're worrying about who finna pay you that bread.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so that third round came around. And I'm like, hold on. I'm going outside to smoke my cigar.
Exactly. So that seemed a little bittersweet to you. That seemed bittersweet to you. It being that
today
situation.
Or then? Then it was definitely a bittersweet thing, but it was also another humbling situation where it was like, okay, you're still the underdog, right? Exactly. You still got to go and improve yourself.
Exactly.
You ain't made it yet, right? Mm-hmm. And so I always had that chip on my shoulder, and I was grateful for that, really, because going into spiritual and universal, that time it wasn't time for me to get that type of money.
Exactly.
God had other plans for me, other lessons to show and other things for me to go through before anything like that was to happen. Because different routes, different distractions would have came around with that type of money.
Exactly. Right. Definitely. I agree. As you in the NFL, I know that you were at some time you were doing music too. So were you pursuing a music career in college, or did you start pursuing a music career professionally once you got into the NFL?
I've been writing music since I was 11, 12 years old.
Wow.
But pursuing the actual career, I would say in the NFL, I started a website and I made my first. I was on a CD before, but it wasn't my own business.
So you got your own push once you got to the NFL.
Right.
Did the NFL help you with your music career, or do you feel like it kind of hurted your music career?
No, they didn't help, but. That was one thing that they made clear, just, don't let it get into the way of your job. You know what I mean? Your job of NFL is first.
Exactly.
And, don't let that get into the way. I mean, there were other players back then that were into music and those type of things, so it wasn't like a big
brand
deal.
New thing. Exactly.
And then it was like I think to the owners and coaches and whatnot, it was more so like, another player that's trying to be a rapper too. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's no pressure. You know what I mean?
It's just let him do his thing, as long as he's still here at practice and all that.
Right.
Okay, for sure. Okay, right. So at the time when you started doing music, the artist J. Cole had just started getting himself into the industry too, and I seen that somewhere y'all was supposed to do music together or something like that. Correct?
Not really. I mean, the story. So when I met J. Cole first in person, we were in the club, and he was upstairs, I was downstairs, and someone was telling me that he was trying to get my attention, but they didn't say who it was. It's just
okay, so J. Cole is trying to reach out to you because he know who you are. You in the NFL at this time, and he's just trying to connect.
Well, this was years after though. This was I think it was around 20. Well, maybe it wasn't that long out there. It was maybe 2010, 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, it had to have been because I'm in Charlotte at that time, and we're in the club there, and I had just got booted from the Panthers, and so it was around that time, like 2010, 2011.
Oh, okay. So y'all were in Charlotte in the club. Okay, that's dope. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got this information from looking up and reading things so y'all were never supposed to do a record together?
No, that wasn't the. So I'll tell you a story. So he came up to me in the club and basically was like, man, I had to come down and make sure it was you, and I was a little shocked, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, because I really didn't know who it was at first. I thought it was one of the basketball homies that I had dapped up a few times because J. Cole kind of tall. You know what I mean? So I was like, this one of the basketball homies. And then I realized who he was when he started talking. I'm like, okay, this J. Cole. Mm-hmm. And then, so, he was like, yeah, you made it to the league and all that, bro. That shit huge. And, you from the crib and da-da-da. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I proceeded to tell him about music. I told him about, I brought up 777 because I had heard about, he was with Bombshell back in the days. Bomb Shelter.
Bomb Shelter, yeah, exactly.
Bomb Shelter back in the days.
Shout out to Bomb Shelter, 26 Legends.
Right, and I used to go through the smoke out over there on McPherson.
Exactly.
And I was in there smoking and rapping with all them boys up in there.
Exactly.
So I remember them days. I can't say I remember. I know he was probably in there with them boys, but I'm just saying I had to bring that up to him. Like, yo, you know what I'm saying? You remember 777 and Bomb Shelter over there? I was rapping with them boys, and he took a step back, like, for real, like, you know what I'm saying? And so the conversation went a little bit from there, and we exchanged numbers.
Okay, exactly.
And I had texted him. I shot him a text probably the next day, and probably a little bit after that, I didn't hear back from him. You know what I'm saying? Probably about a week later, I shot him another text. Yo, was good, and never heard nothing back from him. So right, and then I was in Speak Easy down here one time, and he was in there, and I guess Mike was his road manager, and this was one of my classmates. You know what I mean?
Mike, the guy Mike. Okay.
Yeah, this guy named Mike.
Okay.
This is one of my classmates, but I don't know if he's road manager. He was doing something with him. But he came up to me and was, hollering at me and whatnot. And he was with Cole, and I was like, tell you, man,
Holla at me.
Yeah, I was knocking on the desk in class and rapping and getting kicked out. You remember?
Exactly.
But not on the just run up to him and what I'm saying. No,
you like, let your man know I really do this.
You're right.
Exactly.
I'm just joking with the old classmate, really.
For sure.
So I'm by the bar and Cole was right there or something, and we started talking and whatnot, and it was a little uncomfortable. I ain't gonna say, what happened, but I told him, I didn't know if I had the right number because I was like, yo, I hit you up a couple times, you get the message.
Exactly.
And he was like, I don't know. I was like, this your number? He was like, well, let's get on. I told him, I said, let's get on track. You know what I'm saying? Let's chop it up, whatever. And I walked away because he was a little tipsy, and I knew that.
Exactly.
And I ain't, want the wrong energy and wrong vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So he was looking all at my chain and shit. I'm like, what you doing? You know what I mean?
and all this come from him again, initially reaching out to you and trying to this is where you even get the energy to approach him.
Right,
and all
absolutely,
that.
Absolutely, because I never. I only supported J. Cole. From the time he got out, I only say, rooting, fed.
Exactly, from the crib,
2-6. And so after that, we chopped it up on the text some, though.
Okay.
I sent him a couple of records through the email, and he was like, yo, them shits is fire, you know what I'm saying? And a little bit from there, the conversation kind of went dry. And I told him, a little from there, I introduced him to my young artist through text messages. I was like, I got a young artist that's incredible. Like, you probably could do something with her at the label, you know what I mean? Like, give her an opportunity or something. He was like, it was too much to talk about over the text, so I'm gonna call you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that died down for a while, and I kind of, you know, you can feel the energy where, like, you know, people either they too busy,
exactly,
or whatever they got going on.
Stress,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like I was in Miami. I don't remember when, but he had hit me up out the blue one time, like, yo, what you up to? And I'm like, you know, in Miami or whatever fuck I said. And I was like, what you up to? And he was like, I'm doing the album. I'm on the tour, on the promo tour. And I was like, cool. I was like, I'll see you at the top. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because I knew at that point he was on his shit.
Exactly.
I'm on my shit. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
For
like,
sure.
you know, I ain't, you know, throwing no numbers out there. Can I book you for 10 bands for a verse? No, I know you on your shit, brother. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And so, you know, that was that at that time.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That was that. And I even made a record. I did that Versace remix with, like everybody else did.
Exactly.
Threw him a shout out on there. Just talked to J. Cole. I told him get women could deal with the streets is.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
I gotta say, I heard some of your music. I went back to it and oh, you really was like that too, for real. Like real bars, for sure.
I appreciate it, bro. Absolutely.
So I want to believe, I say again, this is all through the internet. I want to believe that a little bit after that, I heard a record where he was saying something that implied kind of like the street shit doesn't apply to me, so something like that. Now, this was a slick remark to somebody, you know what I'm saying, that he was directing that to. Was that you, possibly, that you think he was saying a slick remark to?
At the time, I put the shoes on.
Exactly, for sure.
Yeah, I put the shoes on. That's why I put it in the front of the record.
Yep, and so I heard, exactly. So, and so that they know, we eventually, the situation with J. Cole, somehow something goes sour to where you ended up making a record. Mm-hmm. I would say a diss record on J. Cole.
Yeah. So, you know, around the time there was some brothers that were rapping, you know, here locally that were reaching out to Cole and the manager and, you know, trying to get a feature or whatever the case may have been.
Okay.
But from what I was hearing, there was like shady business, you know, coming to Charlotte, and we're supposed to meet with the Cole's manager, this person, and, you know, some other person is showing up, or nobody's showing up, or nobody's answering the phone. And these is, you know, people that's out in the streets here in Fayetteville.
Wow.
And, you know, trying to get their music out and stuff like that. And so, you know, they were calling me and was like, you know, we gonna diss him, you know what I mean? FJ Cole, this, that. I'm like, nah, don't do it like that, because it's gonna look like you hating.
Exactly.
You know, and that's the first thing people gonna think, bro. Don't do it like that. So that kept happening though. You know, people kept calling me like, yo, what's good, man? You know, we finna bomb on him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think it was Self-Made. I think they had dropped the record one time, and somebody had dropped the record, and I was
remember
like,
Self-Made. I remember that name.
Yeah, so I was like, it's over. They bombing on him. You know what I mean? And so, you know, I didn't have any fingers in it. I told them, you know, whatever, don't do it, because it's gonna look like hating. But at the same time, you know, when you're, it's kind of a difficult. What do you call vulnerable and difficult situation?
Yeah, very.
For him and for rappers being from, you know, certain places.
Exactly.
For one, because everybody can't go. You can't take everyone with you, for one.
Yeah.
And you know, you want to see people work. You want to see people do their thing, but also, you know, this music thing, for one, is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to business or any of that.
Yes, it is.
It's one thing to reach back in the black community as a business person and try to, you know, put people on and give them those type of opportunities.
Exactly.
You know, and that's being done and can be done more. But in this music, with what we've seen and everything that's going on, to put one person on can affect the whole community.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. So we're filling voids without.
But shout out to that man. You know, shout out to J. Cole and keep, you know, running forward and pushing, you know, everything that you're doing forward. We got nothing but, you know, respect for all of our brothers that's, you know, out here trying to push the envelope some type of way. Even if you drop the envelope and got it dirty.
Exactly.
You still trying to push the envelope. So much respect.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely shout out to J. Cole, man. You already know what it is in the 2-6. We salute you, my brother. Right. Keep doing what you're doing. For sure. So, I'm going to take a quick second real quick to shout out my sponsors again real quick. Just real quick. So, my sponsors will be Plug Connections, The Come Up Magazine, JS Designs, Heart and Soul Restaurant, Styles by Tip, Tia Cut My Hair, Dirty South Mud Daiquiris, Drea the Hair Slayer, Soul Rose, and Culture, and Brighter Future Home Healthcare. Okay, so getting back with Demarcus Tank Tyler, that's who we have here right now. So, going back to the NFL, you said you left. I know that you were ended with the Chiefs, and then you went with the Carolina Panthers, and then after that you went to a D League, right, for a little while. So, leaving that situation and exiting in that, where is Demarcus? Where is Tank after that? After the situation, after you leave the D League, what's going on with you after that situation?
I went to the Storm down in Tampa Bay, and there was a guy named Chris Hovan that kept calling me to come play because he was like, you know, you still got a bunch of ball in you. We can get you back in the NFL, you know. And the owner is Derek Brooks or Dan Brooks, that played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a big-time player with them. I think it's Dan Brooks or Derek Brooks, one of Derek Brooks. And I don't remember his name like that on purpose. Derek Brooks, you know what you did. But anyway, but they were calling me and was saying, you know, come on down and play. And I came on down because I really was, you know, done with football.
Exactly.
But I went and tried the arena, and you know, I was there maybe for 5 or 6 weeks into the season, and I noticed that okay, you know, the season is getting we're getting into the season pretty much the whole season. Like what y'all, you know, so what's going on? And Chris Hovan and I shared the same defensive line coach, which was Rob Marinelli. And Rob Marinelli, I don't know if he's still with the Cowboys, but he was a very, you know, real coach. Okay. And so I was thinking this guy was going to call him and, you know, put in a good word for old Tank Tyler. And that didn't happen. And so Dan Brooks was, you know, big alumni for the Buccaneers, or Hall of Fame for them, and I'm thinking, you know, Derek Brooks put in the word. So long story short, a couple of my good friends from Kansas City, they came to Tampa because they used to live in Sarasota, and there was some big event going on, and they had got a skybox suite at whatever event that was going on at Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they wanted me to come with them. And so I came there with him, and then just so happened the GM walks by, and I introduced myself, and then I tell him, you know, I'm over at Tampa Bay Storm, and he was like, "Oh, well, that's good to know. I'm glad to know now that you're over there. Now I can check you out." And I'm like, this motherfucker didn't even know I was playing ball right up the street.
Wow.
And all 4 of your coaches, you know, my coaches are ex-players for the Buccaneers.
Exactly. And they ain't said nothing.
Nothing. So I, that was a little, you know,
Exactly.
and so I walked away again from the game. Around that time, there was a lot of things going on in my life. I had, you know, this was the time when I had just healed myself from diabetes. I had just came into, you know, the herbs and the natural way of healing and a new way of life, new diet and everything.
Wow. Let's tap into that a little bit. How did you get into the herbs and the medicines and being able the knowledge to heal yourself from diabetes?
So, the way that I got into it was being in California, and one of my friends introduced me to Dr. Sebi.
Wow. Okay.
So he showed me Dr. Sebi at that point, and at that time I didn't know I had diabetes. I was just peeing a lot. I couldn't hold my bladder, my pee, and then I couldn't see well at the time. My vision was shrinking by the day. I had got to a point where I couldn't see maybe 3 or 4 feet away from my face.
Wow.
Especially like looking in the mirror, I had to get up close. And so when this thing struck and it started getting worse, I told myself that I would always at least give that guy a try that my friend was showing me.
Exactly.
And because I didn't listen to him much, I only heard a few things, and then I trusted my friend. And so at that time when it happened, I said, so let me go ahead and research him and see where I can find him at. And he was in Honduras, and I wanted to wait till he got back to LA. And so I was gonna go see him in LA, and maybe a week went past and he died, or they killed him.
Wow.
Right. And so when that happened, it was something that came over me even stronger about him. I was like, oh, you know, I have to study him now.
Exactly.
You know, not even to,
Exactly.
because I didn't know anything about a herb or anything. I just needed to study him. I said, okay, let me listen into him. And I started listening, and then came the herb. You know, I figured out what he was doing.
Wow.
And he was using the herb. And once I learned that, then that started to change everything about the way I thought, and then especially the way I ate.
Wow.
So I started eliminating meat and all sugars.
Wow. Exactly.
For a year straight, I didn't eat or drink anything with sugar.
Wow.
Period. The first thing I had was that vitamin water, and it was so sweet. I looked at the back of it. It said 34 grams of sugar with 50 calories.
Wow.
And this is when I found out that calories wasn't nothing we need to be paying attention to.
Exactly. I know eventually you ended up in Africa, right?
Mm-hmm. So Africa came about when I started going deeper inside of myself.
Okay.
I hadn't heard of Zanzibar. I hadn't heard really of Tanzania, and I thought of Tasmania first.
Okay.
When I first heard it.
Just want to clarify, those are places that you spent time in Africa?
No, Tanzania. Yeah, Zanzibar and Tanzania.
Zanzibar and Tanzania.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, Tasmania was a place that I thought that I heard, but it wasn't.
Okay,
yeah,
exactly.
But so how Africa came about was the way I was shown things. I was taken and shown, you know, some of the beginning of the end, and I was shown where we come from. And Within that, that took me somewhere and kind of broke me down. It broke me down because I had to realize prison planet, basically. This realm that we live in, the Matrix.
Exactly.
And so once I was shown and I realized that it broke me to a point of desperate, no answers, depression.
Exactly.
And a lot of things, but it instantly broke because I was able to come back to myself and hear my higher self and hear God. And once I was able to come back to myself and hear God, that's how I was able to hear Tanzania. And that's how I ended up going to Tanzania and going to Africa.
Let's let the people know what's going on right now today with Tank Tyler. So you've been visiting Africa now since 2018. What is the benefits and what are you doing nowadays? Now that you going back from Africa and here, what is going on with you nowadays, today? What's up with Demarcus Tank Tyler?
Nowadays, today, so I started selling sea moss, and well, it was sea moss to begin with back in 2019, November.
Wow. Okay.
And it was maybe a little bit before that. Yeah, it was just the big order. My first big order was in November, but I started that because I could feel, like I said, I was shown these things in Kansas. And so my energy was telling me my people gonna need this sea moss.
Wow.
And so 2 years had already went by, 2017 and 2018, where I had the opportunity to do any type of business from Zanzibar, and I didn't because I was there on another mission at that point.
Okay.
So this is the point where I started doing business really, and I started to bring in herbs 2019 November, right before COVID hit.
Okay.
And when COVID hit is when I really pushed the gas and started, giving away a lot of free sea moss, and really hitting the streets and being hand to hand and voice.
Okay, let me tap on that. So in 2019, you're bringing in sea moss. This is coming from Africa,
Right.
Okay, so you're transporting sea moss straight from Africa to here in Fayetteville in the community, and you're giving it away in
Right.
2019,
right
during the pandemic.
Right. So before the pandemic started, I was downtown at the market house, and I would give away fruits. I did a barbecue down there one time where I barbecued some veggie burgers, and I gave away the veggie burgers. And
dope.
Right around the time, because I started doing it almost every other few days, and so I started to bring the sea moss down with me because people would call me for the sea moss, and I'd be down there giving away fruit.
Exactly.
So I would sell sea moss and give away fruits at the same time, and then I was like, you know what? People really about to, need the sea moss. So I started giving away sea moss instead of giving away fruit.
Wow.
And so directly after that, COVID started to hit.
Wow.
And that's so
when you were probably right on time with the sea moss.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Like I said, I was in Arkansas at that time, and I could feel that, my people are gonna need sea moss right now. Something is coming,
Exactly.
And so I placed my first big order, and I started to hit the streets. The first time I started selling sea moss, you would think it was drugs because I just had a Ziploc bag and I would put an ounce or two in the Ziploc bag and tie it up. And this was the way I was selling sea moss. But everybody knew from following my story
exactly what it was.
What it was. And so it happened that way, man. And it was really beautiful. And then we just started pushing. It started as soon as COVID hit. It started pushing and getting everybody on it for sure.
Wow. Okay, so I know that you're pushing the sea moss. You're giving it away down at the market house, and then eventually you end up opening a storefront, correct? Mm-hmm. And this storefront, let's talk about this because this storefront is located in the prestige neighborhood of Haymont Hill, correct?
Right.
Let's tap into that. Let's see how does this come about, and is that your exact intention to be down in Haymont Hill?
Okay. So when I started selling the sea moss, I didn't have an idea to have a store or a shop.
Okay.
I just knew I needed to get it to the people.
Exactly.
And so I used Facebook and I used Instagram and word of mouth and things to get the word out and to spread it and to kind of lend people an opportunity to tap into things that I've learned over my healing process.
Exactly. So
I used to do a lot of posting and lives, on the Facebook and stuff like that. The shop, it came about, I was back and forth from Africa to here a lot in different places. And when I touched down here, either I was, selling the sea moss out of my mom's garage, or I would have I bought a camper and I put everything in the camper and I sell it out of the RV.
Exactly.
Or I have it in the truck and I sell it out of the truck. And so, I didn't have a complaint about doing it like that, but it did get a little, where I got stuff everywhere when I got to move and I really want to take a trip out of town or something, you know what I mean? And so I did get into the vibration of maybe I need a shop, to set my stuff up and for people to come when I'm not in town and things of this nature. And so I was in that area in Haymont one day, and I'm trying to remember what I was doing in the area. But I knew, matter of fact, I think I had got dropped off at that tobacco place there, and I was gonna Uber from there.
Okay.
Right? So across the street, it's a tobacco place, and then across the street from the tobacco place, this guy from South Carolina, he sells peaches. And these peaches are very sweet and juicy, big peaches. And so I went over to grab some of these peaches, and I'm sitting down and eating my peach, and I notice across on the window, it says freedom. And I see freedom, and then I see for rent or for lease, and I see the number, and I say, oh, that's mine.
Yeah.
And so I called the number, and they said, well, we have a few applications on this place, and I said, well, it's my place, so y'all might as well just give me the application, and y'all would rather me in there. I just got inducted to the Hall of Fame, a couple weeks ago at the high school, so
wow.
Y'all know y'all would rather me anyway, so send me the application.
I said, pull the little name real quick.
Well, I just threw that out there because it was going on at that time.
For sure.
Didn't say nothing about the NFL, just said something about the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
And but my feeling was, this is mine. And it was only maybe a week after that they called me and told me, you have the place. We're gonna let you get it. And
wow, congratulations on that.
History from there.
Beautiful. Let the people know the name of your building and where it's located at. The location.
It's Suco Health Boutique. So if you type it in on your Google Maps, you can type in Suco, SUCCO, Health Boutique. and that's 1225 Fort Bragg Road here in Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Yes, sir. Man, I've been in there. I went in there and purchased some sea moss butter, and I've been using it ever since. Literally, no doubt, this is genuine information. I've been using it ever since. Me and my wife, we love it. It has replaced our cocoa butter. Totally. So we're using nothing but your product right now. My skin is beautiful. So shout out.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Absolutely.
Shout out for sure.
Yeah, that sea moss butter is really good. We use a mango butter in that, and the shea butter. So, and then the sea moss comes with the powder. So.
Exactly.
It's
beautiful, man. Very good
nice
for my skin and all of that. So, what all products do y'all have inside of Suko?
Inside of Suko, we mainly carry products only from Zanzibar, Tanzania. But this is one of our products that is not inside of that. This is the 100%. I mean, this is not from Tanzania. This is from North Carolina.
Okay.
100% muscadine grape juice.
Wow, all natural, alcohol free.
All natural, alcohol free, 100% muscadine grape juice. And grapes are nature's #1 source of antioxidants.
Wow.
So people that are dealing with cancers, dealing with blood pressure, dealing with anxiety, depression, even headaches, grapes, seeded grapes or muscadine grapes will take care of a lot. And people with digestive issues,
wow,
especially this red grape juice, you could wake up in the morning and, some people have a hard time of using the restroom, especially our women today. The black seed oil, muscadine grape juice, it won't give you the diarrhea or the runs, but it will help assist you go to the restroom without struggling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. So y'all make sure y'all get this product.
Absolutely. And so, other than the grape juice, we make a tea. It's a lemongrass, soursop, guava, all leaf.
Wow.
Herbal tea.
Okay.
It has, I was about to say tangawizi, that's ginger in Swahili.
Wow.
So it has tangawizi in it, cinnamon, which is dalasini in Swahili, lime, agave. And we make a herbal tea from this, and it's helping out with the prostate. It's helping out with the menstrual cycle in women. It's lessen and shorten the cycles and the cramps and the pain. So women are really loving that. And then,
wow,
men with our blood, cleaning the blood cells, giving us good iron, chlorophyll, vitamin D. Yeah.
Wow,
so,
beautiful.
Definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, are you, like, I know that you know things about that and you're trying to help the community and get these things out there. Would you say that you will be a good source for people to be able to come to you sort of as a mentor? Are you doing mentorship right now?
Yes, I mean, I speak with people, on a daily. I'm never closed off to people wanting to learn or talk about herbs or diet or natural healing, because it was a point of time that I didn't know about these things, and it's not really taught to us the things that are needed, the things that are natural, because a lot of things that we think are healthy is not really healthy for us.
Exactly.
And they're really pushed on us like they're healthy.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the issue that we face. And for that reason, I'm never closed to, talking to people about this particular case here. My personal Instagram is down, but I have a business Instagram that I still check the messages on to communicate with people there.
Okay.
And that's Suko Milan, SucoMilan. You will see the Suko logo pop up.
Exactly. Again, that's Suko Milan on Instagram.
On Instagram. And then I'm still on Messenger on Facebook. So if you go on Tank Tyler on Facebook, you'll see a picture of me jumping over pyramids. and that's my Facebook Messenger.
Exactly.
Right, and so you can communicate with me through there. And while I know it's important, I go ahead and lay it out there how I heal myself of diabetes. Is first I would recommend people to cut out the unnatural sugars. And what I mean by unnatural sugars is natural fruits. Natural fruits are seeded fruits like watermelons with seeds, papayas with seeds. These things have natural sugar, exactly, which is natural energy for us. Exactly. This is needed, but if it isn't that, if it's juices by concentrate, sugars that just are in unnatural sodium drinks, bicarbonates, these type of things, to stay away from those for one, and then to cut out the meat. For number one, beef. Wow. Okay. Yeah, beef is a culprit of this diabetes epidemic because of what I was telling you earlier about the windmills. Exactly. The radiation. Exactly. This is causing the pancreas not to produce as much insulin as we produced before. Exactly. So this is why a lot of young people, I was 30 years old when I got diagnosed with diabetes. And so now people are 12 and 17 and, getting diabetes, and they don't know where it's coming from, And it's coming from that meat. This meat and that parasite that's in beef in particular is taking the insulin in the pancreas. Wow. And in return, they give you pig insulin for the shot, for the insulin. Wow. For people that's taking insulin. So this is where the insulin is coming from. And you can actually look that up and Google, what's inside. I did not know that. When you're getting the insulin, I just want to clarify this. When people getting insulin shots, that is pig insulin? Absolutely. Wow. Right. Okay. And so, with people that are religious, especially Muslims, exactly, they don't eat pig, and this are the things that are happening that we don't know about, and until you know, you don't know. Exactly. But those are the key things that I would do to try to step away from diabetes. Is to change up, get rid of beef altogether. Exactly. Get rid of sugars. Nothing but natural sugar. Yeah, nothing but natural sugar. And that's in the apples, your oranges, everything must have seeds. Exactly. Your watermelons, your papaya, that's natural sugar. And God's sugar is dates. Wow. Okay. Dates are kind of like big prunes. Exactly. But they're sweet, and you can get them in a syrup form already, or you can boil them down to your syrup. I take them and I cook them with everything that's supposed to be sweet. Exactly. I substitute the turbinado that's in the smoothies for the dates, and that sweetens up my smoothie. Wow. And that's a natural sugar that's actually good for our heart and our blood. Wow. Okay. Beautiful information. Natural sugars are in cacao that makes chocolate, vanilla. These things have natural, sugars for cinnamon. Well, you heard it from the man himself. Right then and there. So before we get out of here, I do want you to give your opportunity again to let these folks know if they wanted to support Demarcus Tank Tyler, what you have going on, your healing things, and Suco as a whole company. Give us all the information. Again, give us the location, give us the name of the place, and give us your social media again so we know how to definitely get up with you. Cool, no problem. So you can check me out at Suco Milan on Instagram. That's SuccoMilan, and majority of the products are on that Instagram there, and you can message me for any orders, or if you have any questions about products or looking for anything, you can reach out to me on there. And also Messenger on Facebook is the official Tank Tyler, or Tank Tyler with a picture of me jumping over the pyramids. I'm not on Facebook, but I'm on Messenger at the time. So we're communicating and we're doing business on there. Also, I have an album that's about to drop, Trapping Out the Matrix.
Yes, sir.
You can find that pretty soon. Just type in Tank Tyler and it's going to come up on all platforms. There's already one album, Antarctica Rupus Nigra, that's out there that you can check out right now. Type in Tank Tyler, it's going to come up. But as far as the shop, our business is located at 1225 Fort Bragg Road, right here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, in Haymont Historic District. And then for anyone, period, in the nation that is looking to do business, further their business, do some wholesale, get into sea moss or get into natural herbs and do business, you can contact me, reach out to me. We are actually looking to put more people on currently. We have 20 tons of sea moss that are coming in. And what I want to do is give the opportunity to other people to make money, for one, to put their families on, and to grow business and make wholesale. You know, this is one thing about sea moss is majority of sea moss is coming from us, black people. It's coming from St. Lucia, it's coming from Jamaica, and then when it gets to the nation here in the United States, it's coming from us.
Wow. And
so once we realize the power that we're holding with just one thing, you know, just with sea moss alone, we're gonna start to rise, you know, collectively.
Exactly.
And that's the thing that we don't see often. Yeah, people are you know, individually moving
collectively,
right? So you know, this sea moss that I'm bringing in is not for Tank Tyler to make, you know, whatever amount of money.
Exactly.
It's so we can go ahead and come up.
Exactly.
You know, the opportunities are there for us because there are plenty of food companies that are using it as an expander in their food. There's plenty of skin and healthcare companies that are using it in their products. There's so much opportunity that is not tapped in with sea moss. You can make bread from it. You can make pastries from it. I've made a pie crust from banana, cashew, and sea moss powder before, and came out just like a pie crust. So we want to feed into a lot of these opportunities and give people opportunities so that we can start to take care of each other.
Exactly.
You know, utilize some resources to help take care of us, for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. If you want to take your situation on a bigger platform and also rub shoulders with someone in your community who's been doing this for over 5 years, who's authentic in the situation, and who actually goes over there and get it, then this is the man you definitely want to contact. Again, Demarcus Tank Tyler, I really appreciate you being on my show, my brother. I appreciate you sharing your story, your situation with the community, and you even being here for the community, because I know that you're once again doing the underdog work, you know what I'm saying, and making it happen for us.
Absolutely.
And you know our value before we even do. So I thank you, my brother.
I appreciate you for having me, brother. Much respect to you,
Much respect to you, brother. Thank you, man. Amazing story. Amazing guy, too, man.
Thank you, brother.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely.
So, again, y'all, this is my podcast show, Full of Motivation Mondays, Bowtie Talk. This is the first pilot. We appreciate y'all coming and y'all taking y'all time to see here and be here with us. I'm your host, Troy Damron, and we'll see y'all next time.